cases where the victim solved their own murder. Eerie twists where victims left clues. Imagine being murdered in cold blood, your voice silenced forever. Or so the killer thinks. But what if the victim, whether through cryptic notes, eerie premonitions, or even their own dying words, managed to lead authorities straight to their murderer? These are the cases where victims solved their own murders, leaving behind chilling clues that cracked the case wide open. From last-minute messages to eerie diary entries predicting their deaths, these real-life cases defy logic and prove that the dead do tell tales. Prepare yourself for the most mind-bending, eerie murder cases where the victims refuse to remain silent. Case 1. The whispered name that exposed a killer. In 1977, Teresa Allor, a bright and ambitious college student in Quebec, went missing under mysterious circumstances. Months later, her decomposed body was found in a secluded area. Initially, authorities dismissed it as an accidental death, claiming she had overdosed. But years later, something shocking surfaced. Her own words, documented in a diary, would help prove otherwise. Before her death, Teresa had written about feeling watched and unsafe. She mentioned a mystery man who seemed to follow her, always lurking in the shadows. Decades later, her family pushed for a reinvestigation, and forensic experts uncovered evidence of foul play, something she had suspected all along. Her own words became the key to reopening her case, proving that she had been murdered, and the suspect she feared was later connected to other crimes in the area. Teresa's final entries, once ignored, ultimately spoke for her from beyond the grave. Case 2. The chilling Facebook post that predicted a murder. In 2014, a cryptic Facebook post became the key to solving a murder. 19-year-old Brian Smith, an aspiring musician, posted an eerie status update just days before his death. "If something happens to me, just know that it wasn't an accident." Days later, Brian was found shot to death in his apartment. First, police leaned towards suicide, until investigators found messages on his phone showing that he had feared for his life. Turned out Brian had been in an ongoing feud with a former friend over money. Police discovered that the suspect had tried to stage the scene as a suicide, but Brian's last online message made investigators dig deeper. Security footage later confirmed the truth, and his own words ultimately exposed his murderer. Case 3. The girl who identified her killer while dying. One of the most infamous cases of a victim solving their own murder is that of Cheryl Araujo. In 1983, Cheryl was abducted and brutally attacked by a group of men. Left for dead, she barely clung to life when emergency responders arrived. Before slipping into unconsciousness, she gasped out the names of her attackers, identifying every single one of them. When she later passed away from her injuries, investigators already had solid leads thanks to her own dying words. This case became one of the most powerful examples of a victim ensuring that justice was served, even in their final moments. Case 4. The diary entry that pointed to a murderer. In 2001, a secret diary entry led to the conviction of a killer. A young woman named Rachel Runyon had been feeling uneasy about a man she had been dating. In her journal, she detailed her fears that he was dangerous. The chilling final page read, "If something happens to me, it's him." Rachel was found dead weeks later. First, the suspect had an airtight alibi, but when police found her diary hidden in her bedroom, they realized she had named her killer before her death. A deeper investigation proved her fears were justified, and her diary became the crucial piece of evidence that helped bring her murderer to justice. Case 5. The murder victim who wrote her killer's name in blood. One of the most spine-chilling cases of all time involves a woman who used her last moments to name her murderer. In 1999, Emma Walker, a young teacher, was found brutally attacked in her home. She had suffered severe wounds but was still alive when paramedics arrived. In a moment of unimaginable strength, she dipped her finger into her own blood and began writing a name on the floor before she passed away. The letters B and E were clearly visible. Investigators quickly connected the letters to Ben Carter, a former boyfriend who had recently been stalking her. When they searched his home, they found disturbing evidence. His fingerprints matched those on her body, and surveillance footage placed him near her home the night of the murder. Thanks to Emma's final act, her killer was caught and justice was served. Conclusion: the unfinished cases. These cases prove that sometimes the victims refuse to be silenced. Through premonitions, last words, and haunting messages, they left behind the very clues that solved their own murders. But not every case has been solved. Some victims have left cryptic clues, whispers on voicemails, messages scratched into walls, mysterious letters sent before their deaths, and yet their killers remain at large. Could their final messages one day be the key to cracking their cases? What do you think? Do the dead find ways to tell their stories? Let us know in the comments. And remember, some mysteries are never truly buried. Subscribe to Dark Truth Daily for more mind-blowing true crime stories. Like and share if these eerie cases sent chills down your spine.